We've got Irene. You're gonna have to say your last name with me on this because this is I don't even want to try because I don't want to.
I do want to hear you try.
You want to hear me try
Yeah.
and say okay? Jirasevijinda.
Pronunciation's great. Just put it all together, one quick and simple.
Jirasevijinda. It's not gonna work.
Jirasevijinda.
Jirasevijinda. And we're talking today. Kind of, you're a new CFI hire. Is that correct?
I am brand new.
Talking about like, time management, and on both the CFI side, but also you have a little bit of a different story than a lot of our students. Is that you came in as a D1 soccer player?
Yes.
And so when you come in playing soccer or sports, we've had hockey players and stuff too. How does that affect your time management when you're trying to fly, study, and play sports?
Yeah, it's definitely way different, but I'm sure it's no different than someone who has a full-time job or, have two jobs when they're trying to work in school too. But it gets kind of hectic and crazy when we're in season and, we're gone for a week or longer every other weekend. So time management, I learned that Google Calendar is my best friend.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think I know how to live without a Google Calendar now just because I put everything on there. Communication, I think that's the biggest thing. I'm lucky enough to have great coaching staff too. All my professors have been great, and all my CFI has been really great with like finding time to make up ground school classes with me and all this stuff.
So did you have to miss like a lot of like Fridays or Thursdays? Because if you're traveling, I'm sure you're not just leaving on a Saturday.
No, for us, for soccer, we play Thursday, Sunday. So when it's a home weekend, usually I miss the classes on Thursday because that's game day. So we have like 4 hours before we have to prep. So pretty much the whole day I'm gone. But for an away trip, usually we leave Wednesday, sometimes even Tuesday, but Wednesday morning we're gone, and then we usually don't come back until Monday morning the next week. So pretty much a good chunk of the week I'm gone, and then if it's 2 away trips, like 2 week back to back, then pretty much I'm home for Tuesday, and then Wednesday morning I'm gone again.
Wow.
So sometimes I've had trips throughout my years that I'm gone for 2 weeks, and then I show up to school the third week of school, and everyone just stare at me. I'm like, "Are you sure you're in this class?" Because no one have seen me for the past 2 weeks, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in this class." So yeah.
So what was your tactic for staying on like template for flights and your ground schools? And because obviously you have to make all those up, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I learned to just not really compare myself to others, and I feel like with everyone, I think once you start getting here, you really learn that is really your own journey. Started off with someone that was in my ground school for 102 and then never see each other again, and somehow end up being in the same like 414 class, and they got so far ahead, and somehow I catch up, or vice versa, like I get ahead of someone. So I think not comparing myself with other people and just not really having that pressure on myself of like I need to finish within this semester, and just kind of cruise. Obviously, really prioritize flying when I'm in town. Like in Grand Forks, I tell my coach, I tell my CFI, like, hey, this is, you tell me you get a launch in, I'll work around it. My coaches are very understanding. If it's very like a must, I need to fly right now and have to miss one practice, they're very understanding of that. So whenever I'm back in town and I have time, like flying is my priority. So that's how I usually do it. But yeah, I don't really have that deadline of like I need to finish in a certain amount of time, because I think that's just too much external pressure on yourself at that point.
Are you graduated now?
Yes, I graduated this past August.
And you just got hired as a CFI?
Yeah, I got hired actually in May, in the spring semester, but then I ended up deferring for the summer just because I had to go home back to Thailand for a month. So they were just like, just take the break. You're hired. You'll just get to start after summer. So,
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a pretty big feat there. So
yeah.
Do you have another job outside of flight instructing?
I actually work here at the VR lab in Oldegard Hall.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been hired there since when I was a student. So I was just able to keep that job as a part-time job. It's nice and fun in there too.
So what's your background? Yeah, I heard you say Thailand. So are you originally from Thailand?
I am.
And then you came to the U.S. for school?
Yes, I'm originally from Thailand. Came to the U.S. for high school when I was 14. I went to high school in Southern California. throughout my high school, I lived with host families and stuff. So actually, my whole family, my parents, brothers, grandparents, they're all in Thailand.
Oh, they
so,
still are?
Yeah, no, only I have family members here, but not necessarily like moving here together. It's just kind of separate. So yeah, all my family are there. When I go home, like yeah, I visit all my family. So, yeah.
So you grew up in Thailand, moved to South California. How did you get interested in aviation?
Honestly, I don't really know. Like I was more focused on soccer, to be honest, getting recruited for soccer, getting that athletic scholarship and just going to school. I had no idea what I wanted to do in school. Senior year was also COVID year, so a lot of things was just like up in the air too with soccer and scholarship. And I guess my grandpa's been like putting in my ear of like, you should be a pilot. You would look really cool in the uniform. That's it. There's nothing about the actual flying. He just goes, you would look really cool in this pilot uniform because you're a girl. Like all this, and you would look so cool walking in the airport. And I was just been like, that's absurd. Like that's crazy. Like that's the only reason. And I'm like, stop it. Like no. And because nobody in our family is a pilot, so I'm like, it's just so out there that I'm like, no, I don't know how to do that. Like stop telling me to be a pilot. And then crazy enough, I was just like, what do I want to do? Like, I had no idea. And I was just like going through the list when my mom was just like, doctor, no, I don't want to be in an office. I can't do blood. Can't do computer stuff too much. And I was like, is it crazy if I want to try be a pilot? And she's like, I don't care. Look up top flight school in the US. And then sure enough, UND came up. And then a crazy coincidence, the head coach then was already trying to recruit me to come to UND. And I had been like on the kind of just like not sure because it was COVID. I was back at home and I have never visited. Obviously, I was in Southern California. I have no idea what North Dakota looked like.
That's a little change. But
so I couldn't commit to the to come to UND for soccer right away when I haven't visited and don't really know the school, what it looks like. So yeah, so I kind of was already talking to him, and then a couple months later, I decided I wanted to be a pilot, and then UND showed up. So then I kind of hit him back up, writing an email to the head coach, and was like, I know we've been talking. Now I'm really interested.
Yeah.
If the offer's still on the table, I would love to take it, and worked out from there, which was pretty crazy.
What was your first year like? Were you playing soccer, or were you
Yes.
You were playing at the time?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the first year like with trying to get associated with your classes, trying to get your flight schedule, trying to play soccer, trying to just get everything laid out in a routine for you?
Yep. So soccer is a fall sport. So I did flight training, 102 in the spring. So I just took other classes my first semester in the fall. So like meteorology, ATC, like all those classes. But still, that was very, very overwhelming just because right away soccer starts before school starts. So we were already traveling before even school starts. So that was a lot. And I remember just first 2 weeks of school, I definitely called my parents just crying a little bit because I've always been someone who picks up things pretty quickly throughout school. Like pretty fast learner. I do pretty well in school with every subject. But then I kind of just came in and, we get a lot of students who come in with a lot of background knowledge in terms of aviation and, sitting in class and reading the METAR, and everyone seems to know how to read the METAR.
Sure.
And I'm sitting there like, this is like code. Like, what are we, like, how do you know that? So I got very overwhelmed, like first 2 weeks, just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know if this is the right decision for me to be a pilot. Like with like soccer too, I'm traveling. And then I think after a month, I realized that, and that motivated me more to like keep studying. And then after a month, I realized that eventually I'll get there and then we'll just be on the same playing ground from that point. Like after private, like after 102, we're all starting instrument stuff or doing other things at the same level now. So I just more like motivation to like try to catch up with my classmates kind of thing.
And you probably felt like you were behind.
Yes, that's for sure.
But you probably weren't. I mean, there's people that are coming up here for the first time. They're going to start with aviation, have no background in aviation.
Exactly.
And they're going to feel like this is going to be impossible for me. And it's not. I mean, it's you just got to put the work in, just like anything else.
And I feel like that's why I sympathize now with my students who come in and they like, I have no background knowledge, no one in my, so I'm like, I was there once. Like I totally get it. You'll get there. Like I know it feels overwhelming in class. You feel like you don't know anything and everyone is so far ahead. But yeah, for sure.
And we've had students that have come here that have never even driven a car before. and they're getting put in a plane, just
Exactly.
a couple lessons in, and they're soloing down, not too far after that. So it's anybody can do it. It's you're gonna have to put work in, but that's just how it is for sure.
Yeah.
So, how did playing sports affect your, I guess, your drive? You're obviously playing sports there's a lot of drive to it. How did it affect your aviation drive?
Yeah, I mean, I think being a sport helped a lot with flight training. I honestly think of flight training as another sport that I signed up for. I feel like I treat it very similar to how I treat soccer, like mentally, physically demanding, for sure. And you have to put in the work. It's just like practice. Like you're not going to show up on the field and start playing a match without practicing or honing on certain skills. And it's the same thing with flight training. So I feel like I have that correlation there of like, and then your CFI is like your trainer, your personal coach, just like I have a coach in soccer. So it's, I think I'm very used to the environment of like having them give you constructive criticism, like being able to take that and just kind of work on it. And then in terms of drive is, I think as an athlete, you're just a competitor. You kind of have high standards for yourself. You have that like self-driven, like, nature in you. So I feel like I usually just end up being my hardest critic, and I feel like my past CFIs could probably attest to that she's super hard on herself kind of thing. But no, yeah, I think I have high expectations for myself, almost like want to make every flight perfect. But yeah, I learned from soccer to just how to prep for a flight, practices and all the stuff, how much work you have to put in for the result. So yeah.
So you're not playing soccer now, you're graduated. So
Nope.
You've never had the CFI sports with each other.
No.
So how are you kind of dividing up your time now as a CFI? Like, do you have a lot of students right now?
No, I just started. I only have 2.
Okay.
So not too
So
crazy.
how are you planning on, working on your time as a CFI? And you're graduated, so no more classes. Yep. So you're just basically dedicating most of your time to CFI then?
Yeah. After soccer, it's crazy. I have so much free time now. I literally don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I have the whole afternoon and evening. I'm like, what do I do now? Like I sit here. But yeah, no, honestly, yeah, right now I don't miss school. I don't miss homework. But yeah, I've been enjoying CFIing a lot. I really like working with my students. This new chapter, it's been a lot of fun. Definitely want to keep trying to fly more, so picking up coverage and doing all the things, but trying to find new hobbies too, because then I realized that, wow, soccer was a huge part of my life, and now I'm like, without it, I'm like, well, what do I do? So I know I picked up golf too. Now that I have my free time, I play a lot more. Just picking up other sports other than soccer now, just still trying to stay active there. But
can you go back and coach
for soccer?
Yeah.
I probably could ask them if they want me as like a volunteer coach or something, but being a student, I know how much time commitment it is.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to do that, if I want to be a coach, I probably want to be able to show up to practice consistently and help the girls out. But yeah, it's just a lot of time commitment. Now I just sit back on the bleacher. They actually have a home game today in the afternoon, so I'm making my way out to see. So I go to every home games. I even try to go to some of the away games if it's within the area, Midwest too. So yeah, I miss that part for sure, just the game day vibes, like game day experience. But yeah, I enjoy being the spectator watching from afar now. So,
I put my time in now. I can just enjoy the game.
Exactly. I was like, I put blood, sweat, and tears into this. I'm like, I like being on this now. I know how much work you guys have to put in to be on that field. And, you guys keep doing that. I put in my time in. So
someone that's listening, coming in as a freshman and, they're thinking, I have to get a job. I got to pay for things. Where do you go to find a job on campus or a job in town? Or what do you have for advice for them?
Yeah, I think as a freshman, once you come in, I think first semester for sure, don't focus too much on finding a job just yet if you can. I understand there's different circumstances, but definitely first semester, finding friends, your community first, enjoying that experience, the freedom of being in college, the dorm life, like all those things. I think focus on just getting in your groove of that college flight training classes, all this stuff. But after that, I think if you're in aviation, trying to find a job that's within the aviation field is very helpful. I've luckily got that VR job, the VR lab job, which helped me make other friends outside of soccer too, because I obviously was very focused on my soccer community. So then I got to branch out and make other friends that I probably would have met before. So I think I found it like UND job student employment website. They have a bunch of jobs too. I've worked at other places that's not within the aviation
and you don't need a vehicle. I mean, you can work on campus and you can walk to work then,
Exactly. I did work at Wilkerson at one point too, just to get by, like I'll get some extra cash. I know that out at the airport they used to have the bookstore, but also like dispatch and all those stuff. Even dispatch here, they also hire. So I think there's a lot of opportunities on campus, even if like the dean's office, like all those stuff too. So there's a lot of opportunities. If you just keep looking, you'll find it. Outside of campus, I don't know too much just because I can't work outside of campus. But I know a lot of people that work outside of campus that have pretty cool jobs too, that they get to work with maybe Cirrus even, or like out in the Air Force Base even, or not aviation related, but at a restaurant, get all those stuff too. So
I think one of the big things, especially when you're looking for a job on campus, is trying to get a job where you're kind of going to school, because you meet so many people. Many people, not just friends, but I mean faculty, staff, and they get to know your name. Exactly. And that is so critical when you are starting to look for jobs and stuff.
Yep.
So, where does Irene go from here? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? What's your path to where? What's your final outcome? Where do you want to be?
Well, I'm currently in Aviate with United. For sure, my dream is to fly for United. Just they do have a lot of international route that goes to Asia. The Pacific, over the Pacific. They just announced a route to go to Thailand too. So that's very cool. So yeah, definitely would be a very cool end goal to sit in that big jet and flying over the ocean, ended up in my home country, or just in Asia in general. So for sure there, but I'm just enjoying CFIing. I feel like I'm just a little tiny little baby in this industry right now as a CFI, walking around the airport. I'm like, wow, like, all the leads and the chiefs and all the other CFIs have been here a long time. I just kind of look up and I'm like, wow, like I don't know what I'm doing here. So just enjoying that. And I don't think I'm going to be that kind of person that just kind of rush to get that 1,000 hours. I do now really, really enjoy working with students and just really just taking my time, just because I feel like my 4 years as a student, it felt very rushed, just so many things going on. So now that I have more free time to sit and enjoy my day, I think, that's the goal. And then, from there, who knows?
You see that a lot with people, and they want to get done. It's like, just sit back and relax.
It's hard.
Enjoy the
it's
ride,
hard though.
man.
It's hard. I get it.
It is, but I mean, college is the best 4 years you're going to have.
That's true.
In your life. There'll be other great things too, but college is a great time. So just sit back and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Irene, Irene, let's try this one more time. Jirasevijinda.
Jirasevijinda. Yep.
Jirasevijinda.
There you go.
I thought I had it down.
There you go.
Thank you for coming in and talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.